everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in today. I thought I would share a little bit of an Ulta haul with you. It's some kind of random things, some holiday oriented things as well that I thought you might be interested in, and it's just going to be a regular old haul. I'm just going to show you what I got, some of the things I'll be able to talk about because I have used them a little bit. But first off, I want an honest discussion about this headband here. Okay, this is like velvety. I don't know if you can really tell the texture of it on camera. There's a little bit of a sparkle to it. It's like a scrunchy headband, okay? Is it too much? I thought it would be really great for putting on makeup. Just kind of a cute way to keep my hair out of my face, but I kind of feel like it might be a lot just sort of around it in person. I don't know, you tell me. That's the black one. Yeah, I got two. And you could wear them this way too, I suppose, but this is the pink and it's more of like a satiny one. I don't know, something about me says it's adorable, but then I kind of feel like maybe it's a bit much. Honestly, where am I really going anyway? I'm around the house like 99% of the time, so if I want to wear one of these, I guess I should just wear it. But I don't know, I thought this was kind of cute. The black's kind of fun because it's not quite so bold color-wise, but the size is definitely there. I think it's kind of, I don't know. Tell me your feedback on the level of use I should give these, just for putting on makeup, maybe around the house, or would you like to see these bad boys popping up out in public? Let me know. I'd say that as though like my YouTube channel isn't out in public. That's funny. Moving on, I wanted to back up just a little bit and show you some things that I got definitely before this haul, and I haven't had a long time to play with them yet, but because they're relevant to some other things that are in the haul, I just wanted to talk about them. So these Lorac palettes, these are the new ones that they've come out with. You know how typically they got in a real habit of putting out like a large palette around the holidays, and it had a certain look to it, like a big pro palette. Well, now they're putting out pro palettes, but they've sort of resized them, given them a little different look. I have this one called the Meraki. Feel free to correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's the Pro Palette Artist Edition. And this palette, I haven't even taken the film off the mirror. That's a gift for another day. But this is what this one looks like. As you can see, a lot of brown, some kind of rosy mauves in there. Instead of having a flat out separation of matte and shimmer here, the shimmer is sort of, I don't know, mixed within the mattes, but that's just a look at that one. Again, I'm just showing here, I'm not reviewing because the only one that I've used so far of these larger ones has been the Noir palette, and actually this past weekend for Halloween I did the girls' makeup and I reached for this because it was just handy. I used it for their eye makeup, and let me tell you, you don't want to reach for a highly pigmented Lorac palette when you're struggling to get eyeshadow on those little eyes. And kids, it seems like both of them, when I went to touch their eyelid with a brush, they go like this. You know, and it's like impossible to find the eyelid. Anyway, this is the Noir one, and it's really pretty. There's a lot of richness in here, but at the same time, the shimmers, even shimmers that might look like they're a little bit deeper maybe in this spectrum, are very, very shiny. So there's some different textures that I'm not really used to seeing from Lorac in these palettes, and interestingly here, we have one row of matte, but all the rest is shimmer, but it's differing textures. You got some that are like wet looking metallic, some that feel a bit more like the shimmers in their older pro palettes, if you know what I mean. Anyway, a lot more experimentation needed there. And then there's the Soleil. So the other one was called Noir, and this one, gosh, I even need to take this off the front. I really don't love that they put shade names on a black sheet instead of just on the palette itself, but this is the Soleil one, so much more warmth. And here we've got all the mattes on that side, and everything over there has shimmer. They're trying to get a little unpredictable with us. Also, there is a tool. I gotta show you this element. The palette itself lifts up here, so it's magnetizing down, lifts up, and you can see these holes. And each of these larger palettes comes with a tool that will help you just poke out these pans really easily. What you could do there is, I guess, depot them into your own palette, or you could rearrange them in a way that makes sense to you to use the palette. So that's kind of a neat option. And I also got this thing that turned out to be so much bigger than I thought, but this BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. I'm keeping my eyes out for some more lower cost, you know, gift ideas, things that aren't all high end. And in my experience, a lot of those things tend to come out a little bit closer to the holidays, not quite as early as some of the different high end holiday collections. But look at this. Oh my gosh, it's so big. It looks like just such a fun palette to use, does it not? With all these splashes of color, and I like that each color seems to be its own individual personality. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing spectrums of color. I'm not seeing repeats. Sometimes that can make things a little hard when they're all scrambled up and you're thinking, okay, where do I go from here? It kind of reminds me of those palettes from ABH, like the different Norvina larger ones, where everything just looked like it had been shaken and just scrambled out there in the palette. So that's kind of the vibe I get here. Although I look down this side and I feel like, okay, here's just a row of mattes, you know? And we've got the darkness kind of going at a diagonal through here. Very interesting layout. But I have not even put my fingers in any of these yet, but I just wanted to show you that that will be something that I want to review for you. I just need a few more sets of eyeballs to test all this stuff. I need the girls to start getting comfortable with holding their eyelids down in a relaxed fashion, and then maybe I can test it on them. But here's what was interesting, and here's why I mentioned those Lorac palettes, because I talked about in a recent video the fact that I did have these and I would be reviewing them, and then I noticed some comments that seemed to show even more interest in the smaller ones because they have a couple of mini ones on ULTA's website, and I was going to just skip those because I thought maybe they're just a snapshot of one of the larger ones and I don't need those. But that was where I saw more interest coming from, so I got those in this little haul that I'm going to show you. And I have tried both of these. They're so little. These were a little bit smaller than I was expecting, but hey, let's talk about it. I've got the sparkling one, which is a little bit cooler, and you're going to look at that and think there's not enough contrast here, because that's really what I thought. I could get it going in my crease with these two shades, but then I thought, how do I get darkness? Well, this shimmery shade down here, your top three are matte, bottom three shimmer, that's actually quite dark. It can catch the light, but it can also create quite a bit of contrast, and I wore this in an eye look the other day and I actually thought it was stunning. I really liked it, and it's definitely something for those who don't want as many choices to have to make. If you're just thinking, I'd like to experience their new textures, see what it's all about, you know, this would be a nice little taste of that. At a glance, do you see how they would appear to be very textured? But I do promise you, if you get your finger in there, they're super duper smooth and definitely have like a metallic type look. So I got that one, used that, really enjoyed it. Today, I am wearing this other one called Simmering. So the cooler one is called Sparkling, and this one is called Simmering. And here we've got, you know, kind of that splash of fall. We've got these two shades. I'm wearing those in the crease, and that's my highlight. So 3 mattes, 3 shimmers. I'm wearing everything except this really kind of loud coppery shade. I've got those other 2 shimmers on my lid. They do apply easily with a brush. I find that sort of a swiping motion lays them down the best. So think about flat brush, swiping across. You really get that fullness of color. Not that you couldn't pat them on, but I think patting on works better for maybe more of a traditional shimmer like this. Yeah, it's so dazzlingly bright. But you can just see a difference where these almost have that chunky look at a glance, but they don't feel chunky, and this has that smoother, more traditional pearlescent look to it like Lorac's older shimmers had. With both of these little palettes, I really didn't have any fallout, which was nice to see. That tells you that these shades truly aren't like chunky, dry, flaky shimmers. They do hang together, but I'm excited to try the larger palettes, but it was nice to be able to give these a go and give you a little insight about them. This one, to me, just all things considered in my collection, this one seems a bit more common just because I've got so much of that matte color scheme, and then it's really not hard to find a shimmery copper these days. But this one struck me as a bit more unique because, again, I thought maybe there wasn't going to be enough contrast, but there really was. But you primarily gain it from this shade, which is a shimmer, but it looks really pretty on like the outer part of the lid and smudged up into the crease. So I like that one best, actually. Another little like bargain holiday thing I ran into was this set of 3 butter glosses from NYX. It's creme brulee. What are the other ones called? This was $10, by the way. It's creme brulee. That's a nude. That's the one that so many people like rave on. This one's called tiramisu, and that's the one I'm wearing today. I need to add a little bit more because I've had some coffee and it definitely is the type of thing that transfers off. This is like a really soft pink, kind of sheer, I mean, just a beautiful feeling on the lips with these. I love that they're soft and smooth, but they don't feel sticky and they don't feel too goopy. They don't feel annoying. They're just a really nice texture. But that's tiramisu. They're very natural looking. And then my favorite one of the bunch, I think, is actually angel food cake. And I'm not sure if I'd ever tried this one before. Creme brulee I was already familiar with, but this one gives just a little more depth, a little more color than what you see on my lips right now. But I thought that was a nice little sampler because most anybody would probably be able to get on board with those colors, right? So whenever you're looking for some stocking stuffer ideas, that might be something to consider. I also grabbed this from Real Techniques. It says it's a limited edition duo of complexion sponges called Cashmere Dreams for liquid foundation and powder foundation. So I thought like they were just both interchangeably for either of those things, but actually the purple one is for liquid and the pink one they say is for powder. And the pink one is like soft and velvety feeling, and look at the shape. I've never seen a sponge really shaped like that, how it's kind of like flattened out. You think it's gonna be real like bulbous and round, but it's actually more flat. But this feels very velvety. They call that the pink flocked sponge, and then the purple smooth sponge for liquid foundation. It's the very same like cut of the sponge, but this seems more like their traditional orange sponge in texture, except maybe a little softer on the outside. It's interesting. I really think that flocked powder one is gonna be a very different experience for me, so I'm excited to try that out. A few other things here. I got this sugared banana lotion. So random, I know. This is limited edition. I saw the big size of it. I almost went for the big size, but then I thought, hold up, you know, you got enough lotion. Let's just try to find a small size of it. And it really does have that smell of banana candy, which I hate to admit, I think smells even better than real bananas. You know, banana candy. Banana runts, you know what I'm talking about? It's a thin textured lotion, definitely feels thinner going across the skin than different body butters. I mean, it feels super thin to me because I've been using so much of my Truly body butter type stuff, which is thick and like you get some on your finger and you gotta like melt it in, and I like that experience, but this I just love for the scent mainly. Lastly, you guys, I'm kind of obsessed with Catrice. I kind of want to get to know absolutely every part of that brand because I think they are such a good brand. I think the quality is so incredible. They've got foundations and powders and palettes that I'm just like, how? It could totally hang with high-end stuff for sure. I mean, I love this little Basic Bay palette, for example. This selection of neutrals, the smoothness, the ease of application. It's just so good. And so once I tried that and got to know that one, I thought, I wonder if they got any other little palettes lurking around there. And I did find this one, and this is kind of like the one I just showed you in terms of textures. You know, it's got the matte, it's got the smooth shimmers, but it's more of a berry palette with a little splash of gold. I thought, you know, I think I need this. I need to experience this color scheme from a brand I love. So excited to play with this one. Have not even used it yet because I wanted to test those Lorac ones first. And then I got a couple of these blushes that just look gorgeous. They're called the Glowing and Multicolor Blush Box, and they're super pigmented and so pretty. This one's called It's Wine O'Clock, and I was wearing that yesterday. I was so impressed by the pigment. A little goes a long way. You may have been used to seeing like a mosaic style blush like this and thinking, okay, I gotta stir it up, right? Because maybe it's being diluted by the lighter shades that are mixed in. Not at all. This is very colorful. You only need a little bit. I also love the closure. While it's not magnetic closure, it kind of like has a little snap right there. I just like that. It like snaps down instead of having a little clicky thing, which can sometimes break off. And then the other one, the one I'm wearing today, is called Dolce Vita, and I will add a little bit more of this just so you can see where my color's coming from. This is for my peachy lovers out there. Get that on. See? If there's any glow in it, it's pretty subtle, but just really natural looking, really pretty on the cheeks. Like if there are any more shades of that, I need to check and see because that's a great blush formula. And the last thing I got is the Backup Milani eyeshadow primer because I'm about to run out of the one that I'm on. So yay for that. I'm all for eyeshadow primer awareness. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this haul. I hope this was fun. I always enjoy watching someone's just random haul video. Let me know your level of interest in the larger Lorac palettes or the BH palette. I mean, I plan to review them all, but I won't review them until I'm really comfortable sharing a review, so it's going to take some time because as you can see, those palettes are not tiny. Whereas I could use the smaller ones and get a really good idea of what it's capable of, the larger ones will be days of use, frankly, to be able to figure out how I feel about the different color combos and if everything is there to create the full look and all that and the different textures. There's a lot to think about there, but I just want you to know, yeah, I'm on board with it and it's going to be happening soon. So thank you for your time, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye.